are here looking at a C-152 getting ready to do a cold start. This will be a familiar scene if, like me, you very recently started a NeoFly journey. For this, I'm using the Honeycomb Alpha, and depending on what's going on with your setup, let's remove the chocks, remove the pitot. So from just jumping into the aircraft, if I start the engine, the engine has started. It'd be interesting to see if it stays. A lot of times when I did this, the engine would not stay going, but you've got this problem down here. And this is the key going back and forwards. And I found that if the engine failed to start, no matter what I did after, I'd been in a state where you can see the key kind of doing weird stuff like this, that you could never get the aircraft to start again, right? So once we're in this state, we're kind of toast. We're not going to get the engine started. There's nothing we can do now, because even if we go back to our Bravo, turn the switch all the way over to start, nothing's happening. The engine isn't even starting to turn over. And I spent a while troubleshooting this, a lot more than I realistically wanted to, and I couldn't find an easier answer online. So if you've had this issue, here's the fix. Okay, I've done a quick restart to reset all of the game state. What I'm going to do here is quickly remove the pitot cover, remove the chocks. Before we jump in the aircraft, I'm going to disable my my yoke. Hopefully I don't regret doing this. The yoke is turned off now. So the reason I had to turn that off is because otherwise it keeps setting the state of things in the game, and I can't show you how we're supposed to do this. So I'm going to disable the head tracker for a second. So the way that the game wants you to start this engine is, let's move this yoke out the way real quick, is we start our avionics. We make sure this has got a little, it says like a 1/2 inch, I think, so I'm not sure what that is. This needs to be set fully in. Prime the engine a couple of times. And then we're going to take this key, move it all the way from both to start. And then it automatically moved it back to both after 1/2 second. The problem is that with the yoke, if you turn it on to the start position, it will hold it in the start position. The game will then, after that split interval, move the key back to the both position. The yoke then overrides that, sends it back to the start, and what you see is the key revolving backwards and forwards. You don't want this to happen because it seems to set the aircraft in a bad state. And when you're in that bad state, you then can't get the engine started. So how do we fix it? That's the whole point of this video. So let's just restart one more time. We turn the yoke back on. So we're outside the aircraft. Remove the pitot cover, remove the chocks. Jump in the aircraft. Parking brake is set. Before we do anything, we want to jump into the controls, the control bindings, find our flight control, the Honeycomb Alpha flight control, that's our yoke, and we want to search for, well, you can search, let's just do Magnetos because I think that narrows down the field. So these are the bindings for when we are turning the key in the ignition and moving through that starter series of steps. And you can see how these states from off, left, right, both, and start map to the button sequences that you see. And the issue is when we go to start, we only want it to send that signal once and then just let the game figure it out. And here, if we click on the settings for that, you have this input repetition. This is the thing that's forcing the yoke to constantly drive that input into the simulator. So let's turn that off. Go back, save and back. Resume. Okay. Turn the head tracker off again for a second. Back in the cockpit. Okay, so throttle, open a little bit. Our mixture's full rich. Carburetor's good. Parking brake is on. Let's prime the engine. And this time we're going with the switch on the yoke. Right, left, both, start. And then the key on that defined interval set itself back to both. So right now we're out of sync, right? I could go back and turn my key to both and leave it there. And I suppose there's probably you could do the action yourself. I find this is a nice way just to make sure you don't accidentally put the game in a state, especially if you're doing multiple flights in a single session. You don't want to lock yourself out and be forced out. This way, you're then set. You can turn it back off. And we can then go all the way back to start and the engine restarts. Problem fixed. So it's a really simple setting. You just got to figure out which one to set, and it will make your life a whole lot easier. If that was at all helpful, I would love a like and let me know. And if there's anything you see that I'm doing weird with my setup there, also would love to know, because I'm finding so much stuff that I'm struggling with and settings I'm going deep on, sometimes not finding what I'm looking for. But anyway, thank you for watching. See you next time. Well, that's a wrap on that one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. If you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button. And remember, I'm not actually a pilot. I'm just a dumbass with a flight simulator. Catch you on the next one.